warm welcome to our viewers anywhere around the world. This is the news on NTA International. I'm Ayo Deji. Makinde, first, the headlines. President Muhammadu Buhari performs groundbreaking for Eastern Narrow Gauge Rail Line. Nigeria to receive £4.2 million Ibori loot from United Kingdom following memorandum of understanding between both countries. Plus, Nigeria Immigration Service launches temporary passports to assist stranded Nigerians abroad. And now the news in details. Work has formally commenced on the rehabilitation and reconstruction of Port Harcourt to Maiduguri Eastern Narrow Gauge Railway Project, Bonny DC Port and Railway Industrial Park in Port Harcourt. President Muhammadu Buhari, who performed the groundbreaking ceremony for the project, virtually urged manufacturers and industrialists within the zone to take maximum advantage of the critical infrastructure by building new factories towards enhancing the nation's economy. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has the reports.
The reconstruction of the Port Harcourt to Maiduguri narrow gauge railway project with new branch lines to Owerri, Imo State and Damaturu, Yobe State is aimed at resuscitating the once vibrant railway transportation in the eastern corridor of the country. The Bonny Deep Sea Port and Railway Industrial Park, Port Harcourt, on the other hand, will not only serve transportation and supply chain networks for domestic needs and export, but also support imports into the hinterland of the country through the Bonny Island. The projects, President Muhammadu Buhari said, will enhance significantly the country's aspiration for nationwide transport infrastructure, especially the railways.
The Port Harcourt Maiduguri Railway will translate to reactivation of economic activities along the Eastern Corridor, which has been greatly affected by insurgent activities, and serve as a stimulus for industry and trade. The connection of the railway to a new seaport in Bonny Island and Railway Industrial Park, Port Harcourt, is designed to increase the viability and boost transshipment of cargo and freight locally across the West African sub-region and in the continental free trade area.
85% of the railway project is to be funded through a loan facility as well as 15% counterpart contribution by the federal government.
The sum of the social, economic, and environmental benefits of these projects includes creation of massive employment locally. In addition, there will be further utilization of local contents and technology transfer, increase in internally generated revenue, and will serve as fulcrum for the achievement of the federal government planned integrated development master plan.
Transportation Minister Rotimi Amechi said apart from the reconstruction of the narrow gauge railway project, approval has also been granted by President Muhammadu Buhari for the construction of 1,500 kilometers of standard gauge rail line for the Eastern Corridor. Goodwill messages were presented by the Plateau State Governor Simon Lalong, members of the National Assembly, and a representative of the southeastern states. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the groundbreaking ceremony of the Eastern Rail Line Corridor from Port Harcourt to Maiduguri by President Muhammadu Buhari has been described as a landmark project that will bring about growth and development, job creation and security along the corridor. Oyinaya Kalu Oka reports from the venue of the event.
Eastern Rail Line was first constructed several years ago before the country's independence in 1960. Before it fell into comatose, this line facilitated movement of trading between the south and the north. The 2,044.1 kilometer Port Harcourt to Maiduguri narrow gauge is massive. It is linking 14 states from the south-south to the southeast and extending down to the north.
It's the longest length of track and cover more states than any other service. And it's going to cost about $3.2 billion. While this is all going, don't forget that the standard gauge line on the eastern corridor is already signed.
It is a single-track rail line with maximum design speed of 80 km per hour for the main line and 60 km per hour for the branch line.
It will be an industrial impact. Employment, engineering will improve.
Something that is very exciting to create job opportunities. It will allow commodities to be cheaper in the market.
The Port Harcourt to Maiduguri narrow gauge rail line will have new branch lines from Port Harcourt to Bonny and from Port Harcourt to Owerri.
It will bring cooperation between rivers and the northern.
It also make we, the states in Nigeria, shorter to each other as a student, because there are some challenges students face trying to visit ourselves.
Since the coming of this administration, so many rail lines has been completed. The Abuja-Kaduna, the Abuja Light Rail, the Isakbe-Warri Rail Line, the Lagos-Ibadan. Then federal government has also started the Kano-Maradi. Now we're here for the Eastern Rail Line, that is Port Harcourt to Maiduguri. From Port Harcourt in Rivers State, Oyinaya Kalu Oka, NTA News.
And now to women affairs stories. Nigerian women will continue to have pride of place in the renewed drive at enhancing national growth and development by the federal government. President Muhammadu Buhari made the pledge while receiving in audience the executive director of the Joint United Nations Program on HIV/AIDS, Mrs. Winnie Byanyima. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu reports.
President Muhammadu Buhari, who described his administration as one of the most gender-sensitive, takes pride in entrusting women with strategic positions in government. The Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning, he said, is headed by a woman, so also the civil service of the Federation, amongst many others. The president promised that his administration will continue to do its best towards empowering women for nation building. On infrastructural renewal, President Buhari noted that the country lost good opportunities, saying, however, that the present leadership cannot continue to cry over split milk. He said the government is doing its best towards changing the narrative in concert with some developed countries. The UNAIDS Executive Director, Winnie Byanyima, who described President Buhari as a national and continental hero, said the exploits by Nigeria in the control of the COVID-19 pandemic and HIV/AIDS are quite commendable, while saluting the president's leadership, which she described as very robust and worthy of praise. Mrs. Byanyima made a case for Nigeria to be represented at the very highest level during the special meeting on HIV/AIDS by the United Nations in June. She said the meeting, which holds every 5 years, is meant to renew the resolve by the global community towards eliminating AIDS by the year 2030. The executive director noted that Nigeria has great women and stressed the need for more open space for them in active politics. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
In another development, the House of Representatives has expressed determination of the Ninth House to remove all obstacles militating against the development of women through relevant legislation. The Speaker, Femi Gbajabiamila, reiterated this at an event to mark International Women's Day. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
With less than 4% of women representation in Nigeria's 469-member bicameral legislature, the International Women's Day provided a platform to seek public support to change the narrative. House Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila was philosophical in his address as he made poignant the relevance of women in human development, who ironically are denied their rights to achievements by forces of culture and government.
It is said that women hold up half the sky. This is intended to reflect the recognition that our world, imperfect as it may be, will be even less perfect were it not for the women whose presence and contribution have been the basis of much of human achievement.
The chairperson, Commonwealth Women Parliamentarian Zainab Gimba, reiterated that women's involvement in decision-making should be embraced, as anything to the contrary is a threat to the future.
Even when it comes to elections, we have a lot of challenges in relation to finance, in relation to a lot of other things, and societal values also add to our challenges.
In a related development, Chairman House Committee Women in Parliament said educating the girl child is the starting point to secure their well-being.
We go through our legislative agenda, go and check the education sector there. We are working to make sure that there is great improvement, so that at the end of this 9th National Assembly, it will be recorded on our side that we have put in the best and we have gotten our girls out there good education.
The House intends to use the ongoing process of constitutional review to push forth its agenda of dismantling limitations that are of disadvantage to women. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
In the spirit of the International Women's Day celebration, the NLC Women Commission is using the occasion of the global advocacy to reiterate the need to end gender-based violence in workplaces. The Solidarity Conference, which focuses on leadership towards achieving equal opportunities for all in a COVID-19 world, wants a girl child to be educated.
There is the urgent need to further discuss and adopt measures to protect women's rights, uphold, respect the integrity of all workers in this very difficult time. And women and girls-led organizations are critical to their participation in decision-making. Issues of networking, we need to network and reactivate to pay attention, to the agency of women.
Women, once they are empowered economically, then the family also will be empowered. When they are empowered economically, children can then be sent to school. Our youth will be able to go to school. And therefore, I think it's a good investment to have our women folk empowered.
Now, let's also tell you that mental health care is a vital part of the human existence. Paying critical attention to one's mental health is the focal point of this event put together by the Nigerian Army Officers' Wives Association. The event seeks to provide health care solutions to mental health of members of the association with up-to-date health care facilities and specialized health care officials.
Ability to interact with the society or your environment in a healthy way is mental health. In essence, your interaction is not causing inconvenience for another person.
Sometimes we have youths that are derailing. Some of them drop out of school. Some of them take drugs. And the burden is on us. Nobody wants his child to fail. It affects us a lot. So the whole reason why we're here is to see how we can find solutions. They say a problem shared is a problem solved.
Women empowerment and improved living condition at the barracks were part of issues brought to the fore. Let's move on and equally tell you that Nigeria is to receive £4.2 million sterling from the United Kingdom as part of the stolen funds seized from the former governor of Delta State, Mr. James Ibori. This follows the signing of a memorandum of understanding between the government of Nigeria and the government of the United Kingdom. Femi Okeowo has the details.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming.
This is the first stream of repatriation of stolen funds from the United Kingdom since a memorandum of understanding was signed between Nigeria and the United Kingdom in 2016. And so, for the first time since the James Ibori trial was concluded in the United Kingdom, during which he pleaded guilty to the misappropriation of funds of Delta State and was sentenced to 13 years in prison, a sum of £4.2 million is to be returned to Nigeria. Representing the two countries in the agreement to seal the repatriation of the stolen funds are the Nigerian Justice Minister and the British High Commissioner to Nigeria. British finance experts who helped to secure the funds were also at the meeting. The British High Commissioner to Nigeria gave insight into the processes leading to the seizure of the funds.
So these funds that we have secured the return of so far are from the friends and family of James Ibori. The case against James Ibori in terms of the amount to be returned directly from him is still ongoing. But the success of this case, and it is a breakthrough because these cases are extremely complex, is down to really effective mutual cooperation between UK and Nigeria.
Just as Nigeria's Minister of Justice stated that the return of the stolen funds is a sign of the confidence of the international community in the way Nigeria has been managing the repatriated funds so far, such as the Abuja loot.
The Federal Executive Council has directed that the instant repatriated funds should be deployed towards 1. the second Niger Bridge, 2. Abuja to Kano Expressway, and 3. the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, under the coordination of the Nigeria Social Investment Authority to ensure integrity of the process.
What Nigerians have been used to hearing is the Abuja loot, but now with the first stream of repatriation from the United Kingdom, the James Ibori loot now becomes a focal point. From the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation, Femi Okeowo, NTA News.
We'll take a break now on the news. When we return back, Nigeria's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Jeffrey Onyema, is virtually representing President Muhammadu Buhari at the high-level meeting of the African Union Peace and Security Council on securing sustainable peace in Africa. The minister said climate change has continued to retard development across the board, with dwindling opportunities for sustainable peace. Undoubtedly, the subject of climate change vis-a-vis its effects on sustainable peace has continued to dominate public space and discourse in recent years. In view of its ravaging impact in our world today, the effects are widely noticeable as it increasingly extends beyond the environmental sphere into the social, political and security realm in which Africa and the world must take a more determined action.
Morocco and SADR to recommit to robust peace process and enduring solution in the region. This for us is doable with unity of purpose, really to avoid, to have a future devoid of hostilities. Nigeria will continue to align with a just and durable solution to the conflict that has unfortunately lingered for decades by strongly appealing to all sides to embrace peace at this critical moment. We all have both the opportunity to transparently and concretely address this state of affairs. A truly conflict-free Africa where the guns are silent is possible, but only if we transparently and collectively work towards its realization.
ECOWAS Parliament is on the path of moving closer to the people through the pursuit of direct universal suffrage. In commemorating the first anniversary of the 5th legislature, the Parliament is also encouraging citizens to have faith in government, especially by embracing COVID-19 vaccination program intended to ensure the safety of the people. Onengiye Fine Face reports.
From the commencement of the 5th legislature in 2020, the ECOWAS Parliament has made inroads in implementing the cardinal legislative mandates of participation and representation, strengthening of institutional capacity, advancing peace, security and good governance, as well as building relations with community institutions, interparliamentary bodies and partner organizations.
Knowing the energy that the 5th legislature and the staff came with, we would have done a lot more had it not been for COVID. Notwithstanding, we challenged the disease and we've been able to achieve a lot for the ECOWAS Parliament.
Speaker Sidi Mohammed Tunis says ECOWAS Parliament will be drawn closer to the people, and this ambition is already receiving needed impetus with the promotion of direct universal suffrage that will allow the people elect their regional representatives.
Our objective to see ECOWAS advance in its quest to remain free, fair and prosperous for the benefit of all must not go into oblivion. We must continue to expand our interactions and ensure that the gains of integration are optimized.
The fifth legislature of the ECOWAS Parliament was also instrumental to the ratification of the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement by countries in the West African region, leading to its successful takeoff in January 2021. In Abuja, Onengiye Fine Face, NTA News.
Violent clashes continue in Senegal moments after opposition leader Ousmane Sonko was charged with rape. Adebola Brooklyn Sunday has this and more on Global Updates.
Senegalese police have fired tear gas to disperse stone-throwing protesters from a square in the capital, Dakar, hours after the country's opposition leader, Ousmane Sonko, was charged with rape. Protesters waved the Senegalese flag and touched a car during the rally while denouncing the accusation against Sonko as politically motivated. At least 5 people have died in the nationwide unrest sparked by the arrest of Sonko, a sharp-tongued government critic who is popular with youths. Meanwhile, the death toll from a series of explosions at military barracks in Equatorial Guinea rose to 98 after volunteers searched in the rubble for bodies. At least 615 people were injured in Sunday's blast, which were caused by a fire at the Nkontoma military base in the coastal city of Bata. President Teodoro Obiang Nguema has attributed the accident to negligence related to the handling of dynamite and said the explosion damaged almost all homes and buildings in Bata, a city of just over 250,000 people. On coronavirus pandemic, data from the World Health Organization at about 7 p.m. Nigerian time show that 117,871,310 people have tested positive to COVID-19 globally. And the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, also confirmed 371 new cases of COVID-19 in 17 states, including the Federal Capital Territory. The new figures bring the total number of confirmed cases in Nigeria to 158,906, 138,502 discharged, and 1,982 deaths recorded. Adebola Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
Civil servants must be resilient, focused, and always strive to add value to governance and ensure quality service to the citizens. This came up at the workshop on sensitization of key implementers of reform programs in the Federal Civil Service. Adebola Brooklyn Sunday reports.
In 2017, the Office of the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation outlined a set of objectives towards transforming the civil service, tagged Federal Civil Service Strategy and Implementation Plan 2017-2020.
They were instrumental to where you are today in the service.
After an end-term review of the plan, key implementers of the reforms gathered here to harvest ideas that will form inputs into the new strategic plan.
Sense of pride to the service.
Head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Folashade Yemi-Esan, said the service is in a transition period to building on the gains of the previous plan.
You know where the service has gone wrong. You know where we should correct the service. You also know what will make civil servants happier. The successor plan depends on you. And if you are part of the formulation of the plan, then it makes implementation easier.
The successor plan 2021-2025 is aimed at transforming Nigeria's civil service into a world-class organization for national development.
The end-term review of the FCIP 2017 to 2020 identified the need to improve communication and inclusiveness in our reform programs for more impacts.
Inputs to the plan is to be presented to the body of permanent secretaries for consideration and ratification before presenting it to the Federal Executive Council for approval. Adebola Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
Now, for Nigerians in diaspora, this will come as a huge relief to you because you no longer will be stranded abroad due to loss or damage of your passport. This follows the launch of a temporary passport for Nigerians who desire to return home from foreign countries. Victor Azu reports that the passport is valid for only a single trip within 30 days.
The other one is just...
It has all the features of the regular passport, but it's not. This is the new temporary passport produced by the Nigeria Immigration Service with the aim of ensuring that Nigerians abroad, including newborns, can return home whenever they want to, regardless of the status of their regular passports. It is a replacement for the hitherto emergency travel certificate, valid for only 30 days and automatically invalidates the passport reported missing.
This document has only 4 pages. It has the passport photograph inside, but it is subject to office check. If it is issued by Canadian High Commission in Ottawa, it is starting to be valid from the day it is issued, but it will expire after 30 days of issue. So, but if it is issued and the person has traveled with it, even within 2 days, but remaining to 80 days, it still become invalid.
We will, by this feat, now have an organized, serialized, and verifiable system of issuing temporary travel documents. Furthermore, it will resolve and eliminate the issue of differences in costs of ETCs across our missions.
But that's not all. For the Minister of Interior, the new document holds significant prospect for national security and the ongoing enrollment for national identity number.
This is a further consolidation of the digitization efforts of the operations of the Nigerian Immigration Service to further strengthen its collaboration with other security agencies for effective and efficient border security for our nation.
Apart from bearing security features, the new passport is compliant with the demands of the International Civil Aviation Organization. In Abuja, Victor Azu, NTA News.
And that rounds off the news on NTA International. Please remember to connect with NTA and stand against rape and rapists to be a star. I'm Ayodeji Makinde. Bukumi Adejumo has been the sign language interpreter.